Damn, I missed you all. Can't wait to get back on the air. February 2nd, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. The return of the Dan Bongino Show. Lovers, haters, friends, supporters, detractors, you're all welcome. Make that chat room fire. I want to hear it all. Rumble.com/Bongino, February 2nd, 10 a.m. Live. See you there.
Happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome to Nightly Scroll. I'm Hayley Caronia. Thank you for everyone joining me in the chat. I can't see the chat right now, but in a few minutes, we'll pull it up so that I could see where everyone's chiming in from. I didn't have time to hop in there before the show today, but some days I do. You know, I hop in 15 minutes before the show. I get to chat with all of you. So if you want to join all my homies in the chat, you got to do it on Rumble. Rumble.com/Hayley is the only place you can watch Nightly Scroll in full. You might get some snippets on social media elsewhere, but we are Rumble exclusive, so come on over to Rumble. I appreciate it. If you can't catch us live at 6 p.m., you can still watch on Rumble whenever you'd like, and that's on the Bongino Report channel, so make sure that you're subscribed. And, of course, if you can't catch us at 6, that's okay. You can listen whenever you want. I know we have a lot of listeners. I try to explain what's going on in these videos as best as I can. Sometimes, it just doesn't do it justice, my explanation, but I do try my best. So Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, wherever you listen, make sure that you're subscribed, you tell a friend, leave 5 stars. All of that helps, and I appreciate all of you. So welcome into the show. I'm excited for tonight's show. I think we're going to do potentially a live raw milk tasting on the show. Jasmine brought in some raw milk, and the guys, I've never had it before. The guys want me to test it live on the show. I'm a little nervous that I'm going to puke on the show. So if that happens, I'm sure it'll go viral on social media. And
I haven't had it either. I don't think Gee's had it either.
Okay, so this is a first for a lot of us.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so stay tuned for that. Whenever Gee comes back with the milk, we'll just take a hiatus from the show, and we'll do a little milk break. But anyway, I do want to talk about Vice President Vance hitting the road today. He made stops in Ohio and Minnesota. In Minnesota, he proudly backed the ICE agents' efforts there. We're going to play a clip. Also, children's star Miss Rachel is under fire for liking a comment on social media about the Jews. I'm going to play her tearful apology video and why I think those tears are totally fake. Also, our favorite, Scott Jennings, delivered an epic takedown of a young lib on CNN. Also, a new study shows that baseball and hockey players are the most conservative out of all of the pro leagues, and I think they're even more conservative than they're letting on. We're going to get into that. We have some scrolling time. Hopefully, we'll have time for some blind reactions later in the show. Put your phones on Do Not Disturb. Nightly Scroll starts now. Vice President J.D. Vance was in Minneapolis earlier today for a roundtable with local leaders, community members, and his mission was to discuss the law and order crackdown happening across the state. He took questions from the media and defended those agents and their efforts. Listen to this.
We have so much federal law enforcement resources here right now. We have so many people here that we do not want to have here. I do not want so many ICE officers in Minneapolis right now. I mean, good Lord, it's really, really freaking cold outside. But they're here not even to enforce immigration laws, but to protect the people from the rioters. That's an absurd state of affairs, and we wouldn't need it if we had a little bit more cooperation from the Minneapolis Police Department. Again, the Minneapolis Police Department, my understanding is that the actual beat cops on the ground, they would love to help out, but they're being told by somebody, I don't know if it's Mayor Frey, they're being told by somebody not to cooperate at all. What kind of a person tells their local police don't protect somebody if they're being assaulted by a rioter? It's crazy, and it's got to stop.
It is crazy. It does have to stop. And I do find it interesting that all the people in the media, they start, J.D. Vance says something, and then you could hear them all start like, they're all upset about what he's saying. And he just doubles down, which I love. And, it is crazy that federal agents are having to prioritize these lunatic protesters more than they are deportations. That's what they're there for, right? And that's the fault of the protesters. If they would get out of the streets, the agents would be gone. If they just let the agents do what they need to do, again, they would be in and out. And as you know, the city's church in St. Paul was ambushed by protesters last weekend, and this very loud and disruptive fellow was taunting Attorney General Pam Bondi, basically begging her to arrest him. Listen to this.
Yesterday, I went into a church with Nakima Armstrong and I protested these white supremacists. A pastor of the church is a fucking ICE leader in the city.
So, Pam Bondi, you want to come and arrest me? You want to come and give me charges? So be it.
So be it. And Pam Bondi posted on X with a little okay and a check mark. And she did. She arrested him. 2 other protesters also. Unfortunately, her efforts to charge Don Lemon were stopped by a woke federal magistrate judge in Minnesota who claimed that, it was okay. Don Lemon didn't do anything wrong. Don Lemon was just there being a journalist. He didn't start it. He didn't start the fire. He was just in there, But here is some good news. A lower court in Minnesota was restricting ICE agents and essentially restricting what they could do in handling violent rioters. But the U.S. Court of Appeals for the 8th Circuit issued an administrative stay. So a group of protesters, they were suing DHS because they claimed that ICE agents were using tear gas on them. They were carrying out unjustified traffic stops, aka they're just doing their job and we didn't like it, so therefore we're going to sue, right? And a Biden judge, a judge that was appointed under him, granted a preliminary injunction saying that these protesters, no, they did have a case. They could sue DHS because they could argue that their First and Fourth Amendment rights were infringed upon, which is crazy. Well, the stay issued by the 8th Circuit temporarily halts all of that. So that Biden-era judge and whatever she was planning to do to protect those protesters that were complaining about nothing, that's halted completely. And the court is now going to consider whether that's going to be more long-term or what they're going to do. But in the meantime, the ICE agents in Minneapolis and Minnesota, they can go back to business as usual. If a protester is, bothering them or whatever, they can use non-lethal force. Whatever means necessary, these ICE agents are able to do that now. More good news. Anti-ICE groups could basically lose their nonprofit status. So there's a watchdog group called the Center to Advance Security in America, or CASA. CASA. You guys are going to complain that I'm pronouncing this wrong with my accent. CASA. I don't know. Well, we'd have to ask them. I don't know which way they pronounce it. But
I think
I'm
acronyms
sure
are free game.
Free game.
Yeah, you can do acronyms however you want.
Yeah. But they're a watchdog group that they've written a letter now to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and also to the IRS. This is what they had to say. Quote, "We are writing to formally request that the Internal Revenue Service begin an investigation to review the tax-exempt status of the above-referenced organization." That's Cooperation Cannon River, or CCR. And CASA said, based on CCR's fiscal sponsorship of an organization called Defend 612, we believe they may be in violation of one or more requirements for tax-exempt status under Section 501c3, including but not limited to advocating for interference with federal immigration enforcement operations and advocating for community defense against federal immigration authorities, insinuating that the use of violence is a tactic that can't be used. They believe, this CASA group believes that after they investigate, the IRS investigates, they will find that CCR and Defend 612 might be liable for illegal activity, and then they will be able to revoke its tax-exempt status. Good. You should not be able to fund illegal activities and then write it off on your taxes. We shouldn't be having this in the United States of America, right? And the fact that people are even protesting on behalf of criminals is insane. Because here's the reality. All illegal immigrants have committed a civil offense. They don't belong here. It's especially frustrating, though, when illegal immigrants are also violent criminals and they use the USA as their gangster's paradise. And, right after Renee Good defied ICE's orders and she tried to flee in her car, another incident occurred in Minnesota just days later. And I reported this on the show where an ICE agent was ambushed trying to catch an illegal alien. It was a traffic stop. It was a targeted traffic stop. They knew that this illegal alien was in the area. They wanted to get him. He was a criminal illegal alien. And he was fleeing on foot. He crashed his car and then tried to get away. Now, here's another illegal alien that has now used their vehicle as a weapon. This has become, unfortunately, a trend in this country. This illegal alien and migrant is also a suspected human smuggler. And he too used his vehicle as a weapon and was trying to flee from federal immigration agents in Compton, California. So this guy is from El Salvador, and he's got this crazy rap sheet, and he tried to basically ram his vehicle into CBP agents. This was yesterday morning. And according to DHS, they said in a dangerous attempt to evade arrest, the criminal illegal alien used his vehicle against law enforcement, and because law enforcement were rightfully fearing for their lives and safety, an agent fired defensive shots. Now, the agent actually got hurt. The illegal alien did not. So, whatever. But this guy is a violent criminal. He was involved in a human smuggling operation. He had 2 previous arrests for inflicting corporal injury on a spouse or a cohabitant. It's crazy. Not only that, an immigration judge said that he had a final order of removal back in 2019. Why was he still here then? Well, that judge issued that final order of removal under the Biden administration. So you can thank President Joe Biden and California Governor Gavin Newsom for this one. Here's another example. An illegal alien took the lives of 2 young North Carolina residents, a couple, Fletcher Harris, 20 years old, and his girlfriend, Skylar Provenza, 19 years old. This is heart-wrenching. They have their entire lives ahead of them. They're in love. And according to North Carolina State Highway Patrol, this happened last Friday, and an illegal alien was driving drunk and basically crossed the center line, and it was a head-on collision. Now, the guy that crashed into them, he was an illegal alien. Of course, he appeared in court, didn't speak a lick of English, needed to have a translator, and now he's facing 2 counts of felony death by vehicle and 1 count of driving while impaired. His bond has been set over $5 million. Here's a really upsetting part, though. He was already charged with driving while impaired back in 2020. And that case was dismissed. So he shouldn't be here anyway. He was driving while impaired 5-6 years ago. The case was dismissed, and now he's back on the road to do it yet again. And this time he took the lives of 2 innocent Americans. 2 American citizens are dead, and this drunken murderer is sitting in a jail cell right now. It's bad enough that American citizens kill each other while driving drunk. It's stupid, it's selfish. And then when illegal aliens do it, it becomes this political thing, and Democrats want to treat them with kid gloves. So I guess they just let them go. We allow illegal aliens to kill people while drunk driving, but American citizens, they have to face the consequences of their actions, as they should. Some politicians, though, have their heads on straight. Senator John Cornyn, he proposed a bill, and it's called the Stop Illegal Aliens Drunk Driving Act. Basically, that would say that if you have been charged or arrested with a DUI or DWI, and if you hurt someone or kill someone, then you would need to be removed, and you could not obtain legal citizenship. You got to get out of here. If you're hurting and killing people, you got to leave. I would even expand this, not just drunk driving, right, or DWI. How about if you hurt or kill anyone, you're out. All of them, right? It almost seems like that's unnecessary, but if that bill was passed and enforced, it could have saved the lives of those young people, because he would have never been let off 6 years ago. And I've covered other reckless driving stories just like this one. Back in October, 3 people were killed when an illegal alien was driving under the influence of drugs in Ontario, California. He hit 8 cars with his truck. I remember the video. It's like ingrained in my brain. This guy is just barreling through a bajillion cars on the highway. And he was driving thanks to California giving out CDLs like candy. Then we saw another one right here in Florida, not too far from where we are. Another 3 people killed by an illegal alien driving, thanks to a CDL given out by Gavin Newsom's California. Back in November, an 8-year-old girl was killed in Idaho by an illegal alien who was released back into our country by Obama. She was just walking in a crosswalk. Can you imagine that? An 8-year-old girl just walking across the street through a pedestrian crossway and an illegal alien just plowed through and killed her. Then last July in Aurora, Colorado, another 24-year-old girl, Caitlin Weaver, she was killed by an illegal alien. That illegal alien was just 15 years old. He was on a wild joyride, almost going 100 miles per hour, and he had other kids in the car. And get this, nobody really got in trouble for that because he claims that he stole the car from his mom. The mom claims that, well, she didn't know that he took the car. He didn't take the car with my permission, so therefore the mom wasn't held accountable. So then the district attorney there just gave this teenager a slap on the wrist, basically saying, go to school, don't get in any more trouble, and do some community service. That's it. You just get, if you're an illegal alien in the United States of America, you can murder people and you get a slap on the wrist. Seriously, the politicians and activist DAs are setting the standard that illegal aliens can do no wrong. And when they do wrong, they do nothing. And it's not just drunk driving, it's illegal aliens with extra long rap sheets like this one, who is charged with raping an 11-year-old girl in Georgia. Listen to this.
The Bullock County Sheriff's Office got the call on Monday morning. They say Guzman entered a family's home through the back door. Then, investigators say he raped the 11-year-old girl. The sheriff's office also says Guzman held both the victim and her 10-year-old sister at knife point. Guzman lives in the same trailer park as the victim and her family. However, they did not know the suspect. He told the investigators the attack was premeditated.
He had previously seen this 11-year-old girl before. He claimed he was attracted to her, and so during the middle of the night, he broke into the home, found her in the bedroom with her sister, and forcibly raped her.
After the assault, investigators say Guzman ran. The sisters woke up their parents who called 911. Investigators arrested Guzman during a traffic stop after getting a description of his vehicle.
So disgusting. And again, all of these people across the country, these liberals that are protesting, they are defending these freaks of nature. They are out there laying in the street. They've got their bullhorns. They've got their whistles. They've got their noisemakers. They're banging pots and pans, defending murderers and rapists. Can you believe that? I can't. I can't believe my own eyes when I hear these things and I see these protesters out in the street defying law enforcement. I don't understand what is wrong with them. I really don't. Like, we can blame it on TDS. We can blame it on the media. I think all of that is true. But seriously, there has to be something so wrong with you that you can see these things and just defend them. It's indefensible. And yet they're out there marching their feet and they've got their cardboard box signs and, they're running people over. And they're defending the worst people in society that deserve the fucking wood chipper. Make it make sense. And then there are these protesters, by the way, that they're desperate to get involved. And they're so desperate to get involved, they're also desperate to make money off of it. So here's a little hoax that has since gone viral. So here's a video of 2 parents that claim that, they were attacked, they were victims of ICE. Watch this.
Sean and Destiny Jackson, their 11 and 7-year-olds, 4-year-old twins and 6-month-old baby boy were on their way home from basketball practice when they were caught between protesters and ICE agents.
They stopped at my car and they proceeded to yell in it and said, get out of here. Well, they used profanity. And my husband screamed and said, "We're trying."
The couple stayed calm. They say ICE agents ramped up their demands.
They said it again, and we said, we're trying, if you guys will move. And of course, like everybody's seeing what happened with Renee, I'm saying we weren't gonna pull off and, while they were right there, because that's what we were trying to avoid. Within seconds, there was a big boom and our car was up in the air and we slammed down. I managed to feel around and open up I unlocked everybody's door and I hopped out and I just started pulling as many kids as I could out.
It's a sob story, right? So you hear that, and of course CBS covers it. Oh, this family with 6 kids, this poor family, their poor 6 kids, they got just caught up in this, right? And ICE attacked them. They were a victim of this gas canister. Well, the family set up a GoFundMe. They've raised almost $180,000 at this point. And this is just part of what the GoFundMe said. Myself and my husband will be out of work for a while to tend to our kids to help them get through such a traumatizing experience. Also, because we lost our car and we have no way to get kids back and forth to daycare, school, or no way to get to work. We are asking our community to help us out in any way, shape, or form so that we are able to keep providing for our kids during this time. Thank you all. Listen, I have grown to hate GoFundMe, Give, Send, Go, all of these things. If you can't just make a Give, Send, Go or a GoFundMe at this point, I just don't think that you should be able to just make a crowdfunding thing without being fact-checked. Because it turns out, and this is the truth, we could pull up this post here on X. This is Crime Watch Minneapolis. OMFG lies. We are being lied to. Remember the sob story about the family with the baby getting tear gassed at the North Minneapolis riot last week? Well, they said they were just passing through the area on the way home from their son's basketball game. Well, no. They were actually caught on video. The parents were caught on video at the riot, and we have the photos here in this post. They're circled in yellow, and the parents are right in the middle of all of the chaos. So where are the kids when the parents are out of the car in all the chaos? Either the kids are with them in the chaos and the protest, which is not smart, or they left them alone in the car. So which one is it? Why are the parents out there anyway? Even if they were on their way home from the basketball game like they said in their story, if you see a huge mob in the street, why keep driving towards the mob? Why wouldn't you take another way home? You take a detour. If I'm driving my kid in the street, I'm going to take the safe way home, right? But then it turns out that these parents, they're out there in the streets. And I guess like now that this story has gotten out, and the parents knew all along that they were in this mess, right? They had purposely driven into this protest to be involved in it. They started saying, well, then we got out of the car, and then you could see in that clip, that CBS clip, well, we got out of the car. We wanted to make sure that the kids were out of the car. Again, your kids didn't have to be anywhere near tear gas. You chose to drive them there. And listen, I don't really know why these people are out there anyway. If you're, 20 years old and you're a loser and you have nothing to live for, fine, right? If you want to go and you feel like you feel the need to go and protest and, make the noise and lay down in the street and whatever, fine. But if you have a family, why are your priorities so jacked up? Why are you involved? Even if your kids aren't there, why would you want to go? Like Renee Good and her lesbian lover. They have a kid in school and they're out there effing around and finding out. And you have a kid at home. Like that has to be your first priority. And then with these parents, you've got 6 kids in the car and you leave them alone in the car where, there's people, they're in front of ICE agents and they're intimidating ICE agents and there's tear gas and there's all these things. There rubber bullets, things like that. Why would you bring your kid there? Why would you bring your kid into any dangerous situation? Now, here's another Democrat lie. And this is about ICE attacking or targeting children. And this is another example that turns out just to be child abandonment. But here's the Democrats on X, the official account for the Democrats. They said this. In Minneapolis, ICE arrested a 5-year-old coming home from preschool and tried to use him as human bait. His teacher describes him as a bright young student. These monsters are sick, right? This is what the Democrats are saying, that this little boy is being targeted. How dare they? ICE is so horrible. They're sick monsters, right? How dare they? Well, this is what actually happened. This is DHS's response. ICE did not target a child. The child was abandoned. On January 20th, ICE conducted a targeted operation to arrest a loser, who will not be named, an illegal alien from Ecuador who was released into the U.S. by the Biden administration. Imagine that. As agents approached the driver, he fled on foot, abandoning his child in the car. For the child's safety, one of our ICE officers remained with the child while the other officers apprehended the illegal alien. Parents are asked if they want to be removed with their children, or ICE will place the children with a safe person the parent designates. This is consistent with past administration's immigration enforcement. Parents can take control of their departure and receive a free flight, that $2,600 stipend, when they self-deport using the CBP Home app. Listen, really, it's up to parents whether they want to be separated from their children. It's up to the parents whether or not they want to be separated. This family separation argument from the left. It's up to them. You want to come here illegally and then have children? Why not do everything in your power to become a legal citizen for their sake so that you aren't removed and you don't have to be separated? But in a lot of these cases, it seems like they don't give a damn. I mean, they're leaving them in the car to evade ICE. You're going to leave your kid behind? It's crazy. If you leave your kid behind, you're going to be separated from them regardless. Even if you're an American citizen, if you leave your kid in the car and you're fleeing on foot, fleeing from law enforcement, that kid's going to be taken away from you anyway.
Especially if you go to jail.
That's what I'm saying. If you're committing crimes, like CPS is going to come grab your kid.
Hopefully.
It's really as easy.
Hopefully, honestly. If you're abandoning your kid in the car, hopefully.
But it really is as easy as just following the law and following orders. That's it. That's why I have little to no patience for these stories and for these sob stories. I just don't.
Yeah, if you're prioritizing some random illegal immigrant over your own flesh and blood in the backseat of a car,
one that you don't even know.
That should be a CPS case instantly.
Instantly.
No matter if you're committing a crime or not.
Right. Like in the case of Renee Good. I mean, they're out there protesting on behalf of people they don't know, just like nondescript illegal aliens, just like collective illegal aliens. Really? Now your son is alone, orphaned? Really? Was that worth it? Was it worth, making your voice heard? I don't think so. And I want to get into all the lies being spread by the mainstream media. They have a pretty obvious bias against ICE. But first, I'm going to take a break to tell you about Fatty 15. I'm doing my 75 hard. I'm in the gym. And I can't have stiff joints. I can't have poor sleep. So I'm taking Fatty 15. And you, like me, probably want to find something that will help you feel younger and slow down aging. I'm excited to share with you guys C15 from Fatty 15. It is the first essential fatty acid to be discovered in more than 90 years. Fatty 15 co-founder Dr. Stephanie Van Watson discovered the benefits of C15 while working with the U.S. Navy. And based on studies, we know that when our cells don't have enough C15, they can age faster. Fatty 15 can help repair and protect age-related damage to cells and help activate pathways in the body that support our overall wellness. Fatty 15 is a science-backed, award-winning, 100% pure C15 supplement that comes in a gorgeous reusable jar. I'm having so much more energy since Fatty 15 sent me some to try, and it is really helping me get through long days. Fatty 15 is on a mission to optimize your C15 levels to help support your long-term health and wellness, especially as you age. You can get an additional 15% off their 90-day subscription starter kit by going to fatty15.com/scroll and using code SCROLL at checkout. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Do we have an update on the raw milk? Do we know when Guy's coming back with it?
No
TBD?
timeline. No timeline.
Maybe before scrolling time, we'll have a raw milk sesh, tasting sesh. But anyway, let's talk about this media stuff. So the Media Research Center did a study, and it turns out that, well, the media has an anti-ICE bias. I know, right? It's amazing that we have to do these studies, right? We already know that they have an anti-ICE bias, but it's pretty crazy how biased they really are. I mean, all of the different coverage. This is what they say. That ABC, CBS, all of these, top networks, they have 93% negative coverage of ICE. All the major networks, all the mainstream media, the legacy media, they are 93% negative against ICE. And then we wonder, this is why there are all these protesters out there. They're, being fed lie after lie. They go home after a long day of protesting. They turn on the TV and they feel justified. They think, wow, I really did a good thing today. The TV told me that I'm doing a good thing today. And then they go out there and they're desperately wanting to get on TV and get their 15 minutes of fame. That's what's going on. It's kind of this vicious cycle.
The video we just played.
What?
With the I said the evidence is the video we just played with the family. That was a CBS report, I think.
CBS.
Right? And the reporter's like, oh, this family, and ICE harassed them, and they did nothing wrong, and they were peaceful. It was like, who'd you ask, them?
Right.
What are you talking about?
And then they didn't do any fact checking.
No.
They didn't look at these videos.
Single source reporting, and they put together this whole
sob story.
Sob story, yeah.
And then they're making money off of it. It's crazy. So they're being told that, if they go out there and make their voices heard, they're doing the right thing. And that's why this is going on for so long. The fact that the media is patting them on the back and that it's being funded, right? So it makes sense. But they're so misinformed and they're creating this chaos. Biden got them into this mess, right? Biden's open borders laid the foundation for everything that's happening with ICE right now. And they voted for that. They voted for that because it made them feel good. Oh, I'm voting on behalf of black and brown people and minority groups and illegal aliens. And it's like the feel-good vote. They get to go to the polls and feel good about themselves, right? So they vote for Biden. Biden brings in tens of millions of illegal aliens. And then the voters are out in the streets getting hurt and killed defending this horrible decision. Then over on CNN, Scott Jennings is holding down the fort, and we love him for that. God bless him. He is fighting for the right to keep calling illegals illegals. Here is young liberal Cameron Kasky trying to police Scott Jennings' speech. Watch this.
You don't get to say the word illegals anymore.
And you have.
The divorce, the percentage.
Who are you to tell me what I can and can't? I've never met you, brother. Listen, I can say whatever I want. They're illegal aliens, and that's what the law calls them, illegal aliens. That's what I'm going to call them.
I can call them whatever I want, brother. I love it. I know he felt good with the brother. I know that felt good coming out. It's crazy. Why? I mean, why would he not be able to say that? Why would he not be able to call them illegal aliens? That's what it is. But then Chris Cuomo jumped to defend this Cameron Kasky brother and his comments, insinuating that Scott Jennings might get his ass beat for referring to illegal aliens as illegal aliens. Listen to this.
You see this clip of Scott Jennings saying, how are you going to enforce it? How are you going to enforce me not saying the word illegals anymore? How are you going to do that?
Say illegals anymore because ICE is directly targeting legal citizens of this country. And how
are you going to enforce your edict on me, just out of curiosity?
Listen, I understand.
But just listen to his point about illegal.
No, what are you, bully now? What are you, tough guy? Because you're talking to this kid who happens to be right, calling people illegals. They're called illegal aliens in the law. And you know what? A long time ago, Republicans and Democrats switched to undocumented. Why? Because it seemed inhuman. That's why. They changed the vernacular, and you know it. But that's not the point. The point is, how are you going to do it? What are you going to do? What are you? You're a tough guy now, huh? I thought you were just supposed to be the simpering, but, open to conversation Trump defender. Of course, I remember you when you said he was like the worst thing in the world. But everything's convenience these days, right? It's getting you paid. But be careful. If you want to be a tough guy, there are plenty of tough guys out there. You want to see how somebody can make you stop saying illegal? And then what are you going to do, sue? Tough guy. How are you going to enforce that? So if somebody beats your ass because you're being rude and disrespectful and causing division in this country, that's causing distress and pain all over the streets and making people want to hurt one another. If you really want to be a part of that, as the expression goes, FAFO, don't be a
undocumented, illegal, potato. Like it's all the same. It's illegal, right? And when he said, Republicans and Democrats both decided this. We both decided that we're not going to call them illegal. Since when? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So according to Chris Cuomo, the way to police speech, he's very tough.
Yep.
Like very macho man.
Someone's going to beat someone up in the streets.
I'm going to beat your ass if you say illegal. Come get me. I say illegal on this show probably. We need a tracker. How many times I say illegal alien on the show each night? It's probably, I don't know. I deserve hundreds of ass whoopings by Chris Cuomo, I guess. But he thinks that the best way to police speech is to get your ass beat. And then he's also lecturing Scott Jennings in the same breath on being a more decent human being and using, this fluffy language. If Democrats had their way, we wouldn't call criminals criminals. We wouldn't call murderers murderers. We would just use, all the nice language that they want to use. And I guess they'll just beat our asses if we don't comply. According to the left, defying law enforcement is good. Defying Democrats is bad. And then if this segment on CNN couldn't get any better, Cameron Kasky peddled a complete lie about Trump's involvement with a quote, sex trafficking ring. And, Scott's at the table, so he has to sound the alarm because that's not a fact. And he's hoping that his colleague, John Berman, would fact check this statement in real time, but he didn't. Watch this.
Appreciative that the president is being transparent about this. I would love it if he was more transparent about the human sex trafficking network that he was a part of, but you can't win them all.
Cameron's grateful that the president is being transparent about the Nobel Peace Prize and his desires for Greenland. Scott, what do you think about that?
You going to let that sit? Are we going to claim here on CNN that the president is part of a global sex trafficking ring? Or,
well,
we're
going to talk about the Epstein file. Scott, I will do the fact checking as we go along here.
Yeah.
Repeat what you said about the global sex trafficking ring.
That Donald Trump was provably very involved with it.
Okay, we'll get to that later.
Involved.
Donald Trump has never been charged with any crimes in relation to Jeffrey Epstein. But
let's be adults here.
We'll talk about that.
Let's be serious.
Satisfied?
John Berman is very defensive because Scott Jennings caught him with his pants down, being totally lazy and not fact-checking in real time, which, by the way, he was doing on purpose. Oh, we're going to fact-check that later.
And then he
we'll
doubled
get to
down
that.
and he saw the lawsuit rolling in front of his eyes.
He was like, uh-oh. Scott Jennings is thinking, why do I have to cover all of your asses? That's what he's probably thinking. But at least he has the wherewithal to be like, are we going to do any journalism around here? I mean, damn, I got to carry this whole shit on my back. It's like up to Scott Jennings. Oh my goodness. Anyway, is this raw milk right here? All right, let's do a break. We're going to do a raw milk taste test. And again, I just want to preface this by saying I don't drink milk. I haven't drank milk in a very long time. I'll have some creamer in my coffee or something, but I have not had just plain milk in a long time. That is not appetizing to me. So I am a little nervous that I'm going to gag. And I told the guys, if I throw up, just put a clip up, mute me, something. But I am a little nervous that I'm going to throw up. Anyway, here goes nothing. Are we all going to do this together? 3. Oh, well, show everyone that we are all drinking raw milk together. All right? All of our nightly scroll mugs, we have raw milk in them. Just plain raw milk. I would show you, but I don't think I'm going to spill it. So, okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. It's not bad.
Not at all.
It's actually really good.
Very milky.
Yeah.
Like just
Hell yeah.
everything about milk more.
Yeah. It's really good. I would like that in my coffee for sure. It's very
Yes.
creamy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you feel good drinking it.
Yeah. I'm not a
Legally,
big...
this is a joke.
What?
Legally, this is a joke.
Oh, yeah. For legal purposes, I'm not recommending this. For legal reasons, this is a joke. For legal reasons, I don't know. Don't sue us if something bad happens to you. But
The bottle says this is not for human consumption.
cheers. Not for human consumption, but it tastes so good. If it wasn't for human consumption, why would it taste so good? You know? I like it. I really like it. Now we're all going to be drinking milk during the show. Everyone in the chat is saying raw milk is the best. Yeah, that is real milk. It is so good. And honestly, Jasmine was saying that her friend makes ice cream with it. I swear, it's so creamy. Like, just the milk alone would taste like ice cream.
Just
So
a little
good.
colder.
Well, I'm a raw milk fan now.
I'm with it. I'm with it for sure.
Yeah. We need those, those got milk ads from like
Yeah,
the
look at it in the
90s
chat.
and
Someone
early
just said it.
2000s. I don't know why that was necessary. People were just like really anti-milk, but I feel like we've gone through an anti-milk phase as a country recently where everyone's doing the oat milk, almond milk, non-dairy milks because everyone's, lactose intolerant and whatever. But I think we need to bring those back. I think the Maha folks tried to do that. They brought
They
in
just
some
launched, I
people.
think it was last week, they had a whole
Yeah.
drink whole milk. It was whole milk.
Whole
it wasn't raw
milk.
milk. But it was drink whole milk campaign. They can't yet endorse raw
Right.
milk.
But it was a soft launch for the Got Raw Milk campaign coming soon. We'll do it, Maybe the government can't do a full-on raw milk, got milk campaign, but if you watch Nightly Scroll, we've got you covered. I like it. All right, well, anyway, speaking of, wow, that is so freaking good. I keep drinking it. I have my big water bottle here that I'm supposed to be drinking, but I think I'm just going to keep going with the raw milk. Yummy, I love it. Big raw milk girl over here. But anyway, this guy, Cameron Kasky, of course, after making these remarks about President Trump that were completely false, he had to issue a retraction. This is what he posted on X. And you could tell by just his wording that he really doesn't mean any of this. This is like, for legal reasons, this is a joke kind of a thing. But Cameron Kasky said this: "I would like to retract my comments from CNN last night and truly apologize. Donald Trump was obviously not involved with a giant international child sex trafficking ring where women and children were systematically raped by elites. I said that by accident and didn't mean it." Obviously, you can see that undertone of, I don't know.
Please don't sue me.
Yeah, well, please don't sue me, but also, like, I did mean it. I'm just saying this so
Exactly.
that you're, you
Exactly.
don't come for me. Which is crazy that you could lie, like, you could tell a bold-faced lie on national television and you're shameless about it. I mean, you don't want to get sued, obviously, but it's just like you put out this statement so that you don't get sued, but you know for sure that he meant exactly what he said. Just gross. Should we get into scrolling time? Let's do it. I'm ready for scrolling time.
So we could categorize that.
Yeah, it's
It could be
scrolling
scrolling.
time.
Yeah.
Miss Rachel is very, she's an influencer, so it makes sense. But yeah, Miss Rachel, she is, she's like the modern day Mr. Rogers, right? And, she is the Steve from Blue's Clues for Gen Alpha and Gen Beta. And I don't really see why any of these people, Mr. Rogers, Steve, Miss Rachel, why they would need to get political. Because you're just talking to kids. But Miss Rachel has quite an influence with 4.8 million followers on Instagram. If you are a mom or a grandma or a babysitter watching this show, you know exactly who Miss Rachel is. And she's got more than 14 million subscribers on YouTube. Her videos have garnered over 10 billion views. So a few years ago, she started just peppering in some transgender woke ideology in her videos, like characters that she would talk to who had they, them pronouns. Then it got a little worse. It started ramping up, celebrating Pride Month. She's been outspoken in her support for Palestine. Most recently, she teamed up with New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani for this video. Watch.
The mayor on the bus says, hello, friends. Hello, friends. Hello, friends. The mayor on the bus says, hello, friends. All through the town. The money on the bus goes clink, clink, clink.
The buses are going to be free, though.
That's so wonderful. But this is like my song, and the kids like to do it. Clink, clink, clink. Okay. Actually, I have another one. Okay. Yeah, I have another one. The babies on the bus go where?
Aren't the babies happy about the childcare?
They're so happy. Actually, the parents are really happy. But this is like my big hit. I need to
This is your show.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Okay. Not funny and so unnecessary.
What does the propaganda on the bus go?
Literally. Like, shut up, shut up, shut up. There's no question where Miss Rachel stands. And if you're teaching kids about, the ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, and messages about being kind to others and all of that, that's great. Anything beyond that, when you get into the political realm, it's just self-serving. She wants the world, she wants moms watching with their kids to know exactly where she stands politically and how she wants to raise the next generation. A lot of these parents, I'm not saying that all parents are like this, but a lot of parents stick their kids in front of the TV and they let Miss Rachel raise their kids. And, I think a lot of parents, they hear Miss Rachel and she has this very sing-songy voice, and a lot of these kids resonate and it gets them to stop crying and whatever. So I'm not saying that if you listen to Miss Rachel, you're horrible, but I think a lot of kids are going to be influenced subliminally by this messaging, this political messaging about they, them pronouns and things like that, and Pride Month. Why are we talking to kids about sexuality at all? The indoctrination is now starting when kids are just months old now. So then Miss Rachel posted this apology video after she liked a comment on social media that said, "Free America from the Jews." Here is her tearful apology. Watch.
So I thought I deleted a comment and I accidentally hit like and hide. I don't know how or why. I've accidentally liked comments before. It happens. I'm a human who makes mistakes. I would never agree with an anti-Semitic thing like the comment. We have a Jewish family. A lot of my friends are Jewish. I delete anti-Semitic comments. I have proof because yesterday somebody messaged me. There was a comment that said that. So I said, yes, I saw that and I deleted it because that's what I thought happened. And then I said, I hate anti.
Okay. Do I think that people can like things by mistake? Absolutely. I've done it 100%. I have done it. I am guilty of that. But I would never claim that it's because I don't know how to use my phone. She was kind of like, I don't know how this happened. I mean, you can just say, this happened by mistake. I'm sorry. But I don't think you can be one of the biggest influencers in the world with 14 million subscribers on YouTube and claim that you don't know how to delete comments and you don't know how to unlike something and you don't know how to do that. You 100% do. That you can't argue that. So I think what she's doing is playing this political game when it works for her. Then when other side calls her out, she's afraid of being canceled, then she says whatever she needs to say to maintain her status and her influence and her follower account, because that's how she makes money. And that's how she gets in the spotlight. That's how she gets to do cringe videos with Mayor Mamdani, right? She's just doing what she thinks will be advantageous to her and make sure that she continues to brush shoulders with her Democrat comrades. So that's what that is all about. All right, well, now we're already in scrolling time, but we're going to get to my scrolling time videos now. So there's a video of a doctor, and she thinks that she's making a point, but she's really not. Watch this.
A person who is from an ethnic minority background.
Number 20, please. It says the cognitive dissonance it takes to complain about carrying a vaccine card during a pandemic, but be okay having to carry proof of citizenship. You know, there are differences in that. Being mandated by the government to inject yourself with a brand new vaccine that was developed in warp speed versus having to carry your ID with you. Yeah, you can't conflate those two. You know, when you get pulled over and the cop says, "License and registration, please," you should be able to say, "Sure, no problem, officer, here it is." I thought that we were all walking around with some form of identification. So I don't know why the left is so opposed to people carrying around their identification. Do they not have their IDs with them when they go drive or buy alcohol or do anything, go to dinner if you want a glass of wine or something? I mean, don't we all have to do this? They act like it's the worst thing in the world to have to prove to that you're a citizen of the country that you reside in. Or if you're not a citizen yet, but you have the proper documentation and identification, you should be able to show that to law enforcement if asked. And they're also so against showing ID at the polls. They say that proving who you are is racist, classist, and sexist because Democrats have literally claimed that Black people, poor people, and women who have recently gotten married won't be able to figure out how to get their shit together, which is really insulting. And it's also pretty disheartening to know that there are doctors who are operating on people and they hate us. I mean, they truly hate us. And this should be one of these occupations where you leave your politics at the door. You don't scrub in and then put your phone up and take a video about how much you think that, you know, conservatives are wrong. That's really not the time or place. So, but some liberals are waking up like this one. Watch.
Okay, I'm not going to lie. When the Republicans were saying that illegal immigrants are voting and turning the states blue, I did not believe them. And the reason that I didn't believe them was because I was like, well, you have to have a driver's license. And in order to have a driver's license, you have to have a social security number. And if there were any other government documents that you had to have in order to vote, those also require a social security number. And only American citizens can obtain those. But then I discovered that there are 14 states out of 50 that do not require any type of identification at the polls. For those 14 states, there's an exception where they may be required to show ID. And then in quite a few states also, there are government-issued IDs to non-citizens where they can vote for certain municipalities. And then there are 12 states that require documentation but no photo ID required, so it could literally be something like a utility bill. There are only 10 states in America that strictly require photo government ID to vote. The Republicans were not wrong.
I love hearing that. That's music to my ears. The Republicans were not wrong. We usually never are. I mean, normally when the left says that we're conspiracy theorists or we're making stuff up, it's really just the truth. And it's the truth that they don't want to admit, right? You know, giving illegal aliens access to our country, its resources, free healthcare, free flights to the sanctuary state of your choosing, free hotel rooms, 4 or 5-star hotel rooms, free phones, identification, social security numbers, along with, sanctuary states and cities removing all guardrails to check for citizenship before voting, means that this was all part of the Democrats' plan. They've imported tens of millions of Democrat voters, and they are hoping to watch the political landscape of this country change. And it won't be overnight, but illegal immigration at Biden administration levels would have ensured Democrat wins forever. Forever. That is partly why President Trump is in the Oval Office right now. Because I think a lot of voters knew that. They knew that our country couldn't sustain those levels of immigration anymore, illegal immigration, and something needed to be done. And President Trump ran on Build the Wall in 2015, 2016, and, Democrats fought him at every turn then. But I think, after 4 years of Biden, people thought we don't need another 4 or potentially 8 years of Kamala Harris doing the same damn thing, because our country would not look the same anymore. And President Trump is in the Oval Office today because the American people said no more. No more. All right, this last video that I have is can you bring out my iPad? Because this is a gender confused potato, a transgender person that is trying her hand at stand-up comedy, and she's really, really failing pretty badly. Watch this.
I am also non-binary. My pronouns are they, them. I'm going to identify as a gender-confused potato. Ray, why a potato, do you ask? The potato is the most transgender of all the vegetables. Like, a broccoli is always going to be broccoli, and lettuce will always be lettuce, but a potato can be anything. A potato can be chips, it can be mashed potatoes, it can be tater tots. They start off as this lumpy, hard thing, and they turn into the greatest thing in the world.
Did anyone laugh? Did anyone laugh? Everyone in the audience was just having their own conversations. They were carrying on with whatever they were talking about. No one's even listening to this gender-confused potato. So here are just some of the comments on that video. I killed myself immediately after watching this. Derp potato, this clip was so epic bacon, making fun of the fact that this is like cringe millennial humor. This is so millennial Tumblr. It's frying me that people are just loudly talking over them. Her. My mistake was waiting for the punchline. Yeah, there wasn't any. I love the people talking over them the entire time. And never do comedy again. Also, do you do funerals? She'd be great. Great entertainment for a funeral. Nobody would even crack a smile. People would probably start crying and maybe start killing themselves too. So we have some blind reactions. We're going to finish the show on blind reactions. I have not seen these videos, but the guys have printed out little explanations. So here we go with number 1. Guy calls in an airstrike on a bug. Here's a guy with, what is this, a laser pointer? Oh, what is that, a frog? A frog is following the laser pointer, and there was a bug under the laser pointer. I'm like, why am I trying to figure out? I'm like squinting, trying to figure out what's going on in the video. That's crazy. I didn't know that frogs followed laser pointers. I thought it was just cats. This is how I play with Birdie. This is how she gets her enrichment and her, this is how Birdie gets her steps in.
Did you ever lead her over to a bug?
No, Birdie is completely useless in that department. She's like really, really useless. I had a lizard in my apartment and I was trying to get her attention. Like maybe she would eat it or step on it or do something. No, she didn't care. Bugs, she doesn't care. But I don't really get too many bugs in my apartment. It was just really the one lizard where I was really counting on her and she didn't pull through. This next one. Stephen Hawking is honored in Spain with amazing display of affection for the deceased scientist. Was this real? I saw this video and I'm like, I thought it was AI. Okay, so it says a group of Spanish carnival performers have paid tribute to Stephen Hawking with an eccentric parade. So it says at this year's carnival, Cadiz Carnival, don't know what that is, maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong. The spotlight shone brightly on a group of performers who have staged an eccentric homage to the renowned physicist Stephen Hawking. The group known as, well, this isn't even in English. I can't read this. But whatever they're known as, took the stage in a flamboyant display that encapsulated Hawking's remarkable life and achievements through the lens of Spanish Carnival tradition. Why dress up as all of the Stephen Hawkings? Why? Especially like, I feel like, after 2020, people were so quick to cancel people, and I'm against that. But I feel like these people would think, well, oh, he was on Epstein's island. Maybe we shouldn't dress up as him. I don't know. But I feel like I see this a lot with bachelorette parties and bachelor parties, people dressing up as like a bunch of Guy Fieri's or Kris Jenners or someone or Pitbull. Have you ever seen this? Like a bunch of people dressing up as one person. I don't know. I guess it's a thing now. Let's finish these out. Number 3, Master Hunter explains how curious turkeys are and his special turkey hunting strategy.
They say there's only one animal more curious than a turkey. That's a monkey. Well, we don't have monkeys. They do have really good eyesight, and they can get really, really smart about what a human being looks like. So one of the things you can do is, you see an old Tom at a distance, you can just take all your clothes off, get completely naked, turn around and start crawling toward him backwards. And he thinks that's like a one-eyed monster. He has no idea what that is. And you can crawl right up to him and kill him. I've killed him many. That's kind of like a secret. You do have to be careful out there in that Sonora country, because you don't want to back up into a bunch of cactus.
Was he about to say he does this all the time?
He said he's got a few registered turkeys using this method.
Wow. Well, good for him. Whatever works. Whatever works. That's crazy. You know, there were some wild turkeys where I was growing up. And then in college, I went to Fairfield in Connecticut. And we had wild turkeys on campus. And they are angry. They are angry. They are territorial. They will run after you. They're very scary. We've been run after by many a turkey on our way to class. It gets you there faster, actually. I think maybe the university put them there on purpose. All right, this last one. I may have found the theme song for the rebranded show.
I have dodged 500 drones, and I will dodge 500 more. And the big ass drone up there flying, dodge his ass and dodge some more. They're out there. They're out there.
What do you guys think?
They're out there. They're out there.
This is going to be the new tinfoil hat time segment. We could just play this next time we have tinfoil hat. But I think people would be upset if we got rid of the theme music. You know, I mean, you can let us know in the chat. I think people want the theme music to be the same, but maybe we could switch around tinfoil hat time. It is interesting how many DMs I've gotten of people giving us suggestions for the show name. The PR statement went out, the press release went out. The show name is the show name. So it is going to be Scrolling with Hayley, but I appreciate the suggestions, but no. Anyway, so another reminder that February 2nd, Nightly Scroll will be Scrolling with Hayley, and I'm very excited for that and all of the changes that are going to be coming very shortly. So thank you for tuning in. I had fun tonight. I hope you did too. You could follow me on social media at Hayley Caronia, HayleyCaronia. Get it right so that you can find me and also get your discounts correctly on all of the ads that we have here. Hayley. Hayley and Scroll. That's one of the reasons that we're keeping Scroll, so that, you know, all the ads, you know, it makes sense. Anyway, I will see you right back here tomorrow.
I have dodged 500